Chicago biker gang violence is reportedly escalating after years of relative peace. We've got a lot of bad blood going on amidst all the other stuff going on in Chicago. One leader reduced the conflict between the gangs as a whose dick's bigger contest. I know you want to find out which one's bigger. Let's jump on in. Let's see what the dealio is in Chicago with outlaw motorcycle gangs. What's going on? Here we go. Violent tension between biker gangs in Chicago, Illinois is reportedly escalating following years of relative peace. Chicago's infamous Outlaws Motorcycle Club is warring against the Mongol Nation Motorcycle Club, a rival group that's reportedly been crowding in on the Outlaws turf in the city. It's according to bikers and police sources who spoke to the Chicago Sun-Times. Multiple shootings between the gangs have recently taken place in the city, according to Chicago police reports. Who could tell with just how many shootings were going on anyway, right? I mean, the amount of gun violence in Chicago is off the hook. Do you want to take a quick peek and see what that looks like? Let's just go take a look. Instead of me saying it, let's take a look and see what's actually going on. All right, so we're in November. Recording this for you mid-November. Let's take a peek and see what year to date we've got going on in Chicago. Well, shot and killed, 585. Shot and wounded, 2,663. Total number of people shot, 3,248. Total homicides, 645. That is insane. Those numbers are insane. And now we've got bikers kind of getting into it. One of my thoughts was, well, maybe they're going there for the purge, right? Chicago's got the no cash bail and then a whole bunch of offenses that are, you're no longer going to be able to hold somebody. Are the bikers crowding in on, hey, let's go to Chicago. Anything goes there. The purge. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right. So in one incident, 4 outlaw members and a member of the Mongols were reportedly struck during a shootout at a birthday party at a bar in the South Side, which was shut down last week by police as a public nuisance. All right. Too many of you guys on motorcycles creating a public nuisance. They do that for any kind of big party, right? You just get too many kids. You get too many people together. You get too many guys, big, strong guys on motorcycles. You're going to shut that bad boy down because something's going to go sideways, right? Always does, right? What I find interesting is that, they're talking about things being relatively calm in recent years in Chicago for the outlaw motorcycle gangs. But man, it hasn't been calm in Chicago for people living there, has it? No. I just see story after story after story of, the people living there going, hey, what is up? I mean, this is nuts, crazy. And then you've got a mayor who basically says, no, it's all good. It's all right. I mean, we've got lots of businesses coming in here and we got a few leaving, but hey, look at this report. Literally, this is the mayor. Look at this report I had my guy do up. It says everything is good. Read this report. And literally told CEOs leaving the city of Chicago that they needed to educate themselves with said report. Yeah. Meanwhile, you got the shootings going on, and now you've got an escalation of motorcycle gang violence. Yeah. Didn't see that one coming, right? Approximately 20 outlaws sought revenge when they walked into the bar, according to a law enforcement source who spoke to the outlet. The shooting left one of the outlaws wounded in the left elbow. And while most of the bikers shot were not wounded seriously, just barely, flesh wounds. One was shot in the chest, which left in critical condition. That'll do it. You get shot in the chest. That's not good. One Mongol member who was struck in the right arm had also been wounded in a 2021 shootout, according to police reports and court records reported on by the outlet. People in the bar reportedly cleaned up evidence in the establishment, such as shell casings, the law enforcement source said. You got 2 gangs. They know how to take care of business. They're going to keep things on the down low, right? Because that's just how this works. They operate on the peripheral. They do their thing. They do their thing. We leave them alone. We do our own thing. It's all good. That's how this works. Every now and then the police got to get involved because somebody strays off and, does some crazy kind of thing. But, one of my thoughts here was, violence is escalating in Chicago, and Chicago's got that purge law coming up. Now, we're not supposed to say purge. We're supposed to say safety law. And the idea is that poor people get hammered on bail because they can't afford bail for anything. So they're going to be stuck pre-trial. They're going to be stuck in jail forever. That's an unfair system. All right. So now then what we've gone to in Chicago is, as of January 1st, these 12 non-detainable offenses are where the new law would end cash bail. And they are second-degree murder, arson, drug-induced homicide, robbery, kidnapping, aggravated battery, burglary, intimidation, aggravated driving under the influence, fleeing and eluding, drug offenses, and threatening a public official. They would end cash bail on those offenses. Now, the judge can always make a determination, I need to hold you in here. No bail. But that's why people are saying, well, this is going to encourage this kind of activity because you're not going to be able to technically hold them on bail because we've gone to a no bail system. And these are charges that you're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to detain people on anymore. So you're just going to let these people go right back out into society and do the same damn thing until such time as they end up in the judicial system as a convicted felon, right? Because these are kind of kidnapping, aggravated battery, burglary, intimidation, aggravated driving under the influence. These are not, sneaking a pack of gum from the store type offenses, are they? No, these are pretty hardcore offenses. All right. Not saying that there's a cause and effect here with the biker gangs, but the thought was, in the back of my mind, all right, well, maybe there's some of that going in. I don't really know. But, that does make one wonder, makes one go, The source went on to say that the bikers who were wounded have not cooperated with investigators. I am shocked they haven't done just a full-on statement and just really gotten to the bottom of who was doing the shooting and who got shot. They haven't released details. What? And that no guns were found at the bar and no one has been charged yet. Seems like that is like every shooting that happens now, right? Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. So much of this stuff is gang activity. In this case, it's motorcycle gang activity, but so many of the other shootings are just straight up gang activity. And when you've got that going on, mum's the word, right? You don't talk. If you're a citizen and you're, living in an apartment and you've got all this stuff going on, you got shootings outside, you're not going to talk to the cops. You're not going to talk to anybody because you're fearing for your life. You're already in an environment that's wildly dangerous. Now we're going to jump in a little bit more motorcycle gang activity in Chicago. The Mongols came to Chicago in recent years from California, which has reportedly ranked the outlaws who believe the city is their territory, leading to various alleged acts of provocation and occasional violence. David Santillan, who served as president of the Mongols unit until members gave him the boot last year, said he was involved with the decision to bring the group to Chicago, but maintained that it was never intended to provoke the Mongol group. Yeah, but these guys are territorial, right? These guys are territorial. It's just like, all right, don't come to our city. If you come to our city, we're going to beef. Stuff's going to go on. And it's going to happen. That's a little bit of what we're talking about, right? We don't fish out of the same pond, Santillan said, according to the outlet, which noted that the gang typically recruits among young Latinos. We're looking at a different demographic. All right, so they're analyzing the marketplace, seeing what's good, seeing who's available, seeing what the talent pool is like, not unlike Amazon coming to Seattle for headquarters too, because other cities just didn't give them the tax breaks that they wanted and just basically didn't help them out. New York being one of them, I believe, right? Didn't they go to AOC's district and she just wouldn't give them any breaks? And they said, well, AOC, we're out of here. We're going to go do our own thing. And so motorcycle clubs are no different. They're running businesses. And they've got to recruit new members. You got to have new blood. And in order to do so, you've got to have an established, business model that people can look at and go, okay, yep, I want to join your gang. Just kind of how it goes. If you're our friends and we coexist in other areas, why can't we coexist in Chicago? Well, you know why. I mean, that whole territory thing. Santillan reduced the conflict between the gangs as a whose dick is bigger contest. Mongols or the other guys? Yeah. We don't really know, do we? Yeah. And the way we're going to find out? Yeah. They feel like they have to defend their real estate, he said, explaining how the shootouts that have taken place have been unfortunate, but could have been much more terrible. All right. I mean, that's definitely a glass half full approach, right? All right. So yeah, you got wounded in the shoulder, but you could have taken one right to the noggin and we probably wouldn't be talking about that. A bunch of guys could have ended up dead, he said. True. That's very true. Believing the Outlaws want to look strong, Santillan predicted more conflict. There's a lot of bad blood brewing, he said. Uh-oh. Can we expect a follow-up for this story? Yeah, I think so. I did not realize the influence in Chicago. I just didn't know. I've heard a lot of West Coast stories because over the years, I think there's always that biker thing of, riding up the West Coast, going up, whatever highway it is, up the Pacific Coast Highway on your motorcycle. That always just sounds so, romantic. James Dean riding his motorcycle around. Was James Dean a motorcycle or was he a Corvette or something? Some little, I can't remember. You know what I mean? I mean, we got Easy Rider, or those guys, were they running heroin? I think they were running heroin. Captain America and his fine sidekick. That was a great movie. A little weird, a little trippy. Had some scenes in there and then you're like, oh, what are we doing here? Back in the day, that must have been a wild movie to watch, right? Because I've only seen it as probably an early teenager, as you do, watching Easy Rider without parental, oversight. Those are kind of some of the things that I was into. Let's watch Easy Rider. I hear was it Peter Fonda? Yeah, it was Peter Fonda. I hear Peter Fonda was an excellent actor in this movie. Yeah, it was wild. Yeah. Jack Nicholson just doing his thing with the football helmet, and he's a drunk attorney. That's an epic movie. But, here in Washington, we don't have a ton of examples of this going on. Most of it seems to go under the radar, but you always hear of the California gangs. Now we've got, Cali gang in Chicago. Can we expect there's lots of bad blood brewing? Will they take advantage of the purge? I'm not really sure, but you need to tune back in to News for Reasonable People to find out, because this is not a reasonable story. It's not. It's just not, gang violence of any kind, not reasonable. That's why we're covering it here on News for Reasonable People. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.